Welcome. Hello. Yes, we are proud that we are citizens of Michigan. And with the completion of this building, I feel that there will be another good reason for pride in the fact that we are citizens of the great county of Midland. Those words were spoken by Mr. Gilbert A. Curry back on March 29th, 1925. I'm Stephen Karras, Chief Judge of Midland County, and it is my privilege on behalf of all the courthouse judges, the clerk, and the staff to welcome you to the rededication of our beautiful and historic courthouse. Standing here today, I feel just as proud as Mr. Curry was to be a citizen of this community. There may be many communities around the country that had a beautiful courthouse, but few communities would have the vision to preserve their historic courthouse, and fewer still would have the resources to preserve, renovate, and improve their buildings. Today, we are grateful that we live in a community that does have the vision, the resources, and the will to preserve such a building. Now, there's some organizations here that I want to specifically thank. Project architects Don Koster and Dave Kaiser of Arca Verde LLC. It is their design that we are celebrating today. Spence Brothers Construction, led by Herb Spence, is the construction manager for this project. And in fact, in 1925, it was Herb's great-grandfather, Herbert Spence, and my great-grandfather, Herbert Henry Dow, who stood right here at the original cornerstone laying ceremony. So it's pretty remarkable that here we are 93 years later, and coincidentally 160 years after the original courthouse was built, to celebrate the rededication and completion of this project. But lastly, but most of all, we must give our heartfelt thanks to the local foundations that do so much for our community and region. Today we are joined by representatives of all of them. The Herbert H. and Grace A. Dow Foundation, the Roland M. Gerstacker Foundation, the Charles J. Strosacker Foundation, the Dow Chemical Foundation, the Alden and Veda Dow Family Foundation, and the Michigan Baseball Foundation. It's their support that enabled us to preserve this beautiful building, to renovate and modernize the interior, and add a new entrance so that this building can truly be part of the downtown community again. For all these things, today, just as in 1925, we can be proud to be citizens of the great county of Midland. Thank you. At this time, we please welcome Reverend Wally Mayton to lead us for the invocation.
A measure of faith is always the measure of where there is justice, where there is kindness, and where there's humility, which is putting others before ourselves. I believe that this site and setting and our community itself arrives at those standards with commitment and dedication. I invite you into prayer that we realize together that we have a oneness and unity with one another in respect to justice, kindness, and humility. And I invite those who are expressing your opinion, if you would pause for a moment so that we could give our respect to our one Creator God. Let us share together. Our God, we are most grateful for the opportunity you give us to gather. And yes, it is a nation in which we may explore and explain our freedom by realizing and fulfilling the hopes you have for us as your people. We pray indeed, Lord, for those who are victims of any kind of injustice, but on this day, we also celebrate and affirm this symbol of justice and kindness and humility. And we dedicate it knowing that it is a heritage of faith and life that we enjoy and we wish to sustain by your goodness, not only upon us, but upon all your people. And so, Lord, we ask your blessing upon this day and upon this dedication, that we may continue to grow and go forward in the midst of the oneness and unity to which you call us, a witness to our love for neighbor as for self. We thank you for this blessing. We thank you for those who have envisioned, for those who work within, for those who serve so faithfully in justice, in kindness, and with the greatest of humility. We ask this blessing in the Lord's name. Amen.
Thank you very much. Next, I will ask us to please stand, if you are able, for the raising of the flag by the Midland Area Honor Guard, and then for the national anthem. As soon as they're done, do that.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we walked, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you very much to the Midland Area Honor Guard. And thank you also to Rick Enzer, Alec Enzer, John Reichert, Dave Selly, and Barb Hendricks for the rendition of the national anthem. At this time, I would like to ask Midland County Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Mark Bone, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Yep, right from here. I'm just gonna clip this down so it doesn't blow away.
Thank you for coming, and please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So our first speaker I would like you to welcome today is Mike Whiting, who is president of the Herbert H. and Grace A. Dow Foundation. Mike, would you come and say a few words, please?
Thank you, Steve. It's a real delight to be here today at this occasion. Thank you for inviting me to speak at this. I'm impressed at how many people are here. It tells you the importance of this courthouse in Midland County. This was a big project to undertake. When you renovate something, it's always difficult. There are lots of surprises along the way, but boy, is it worth it. It's such an outstanding building that everybody remembers when they come to visit Midland. And it was essential to restore this to a safe and usable space. And the other thing I really like is to restore public access from Main Street. Because I remember as a kid coming here, the entrance was a really special place, and we kind of lost that because of security reasons, but now it's back. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the early history of the courthouse, and it goes back to my great-grandfather, Herbert Henry Dow. And this courthouse is a great example of what Herbert and Grace Dow did to make Midland such a special place. Back in 1924, Herbert got the idea that we ought to build a really architecturally outstanding building in Midland, not just some regular government building. So he agreed to pay out of his own pocket the extra costs of making this a really special building. And he hired some nationally famous people to come in and do this. Cleveland architect Bloodgood Tuttle, that's quite a name, but I guess you could only be an architect with that kind of name. He followed Herbert's ideas to create a unique courthouse made out of local materials from Midland County. He hired Detroit artists Paul Honoré and Olaf Olesen from Denmark to make the murals on the side that depict local scenes. And I hope you'll take the time, if you haven't done so before, to look at these murals because they're really outstanding. Landscape architect Paul Tano from Japan worked to make the grounds outstanding. And being ever the creative chemist, Herbert made sure the murals were made from a new Dow product called magnesite stucco. So, again, he was always trying to experiment and do new things. He paid all of these extra costs out of his own pocket to make it a really special building for the community that lasts 100 years to today. This courthouse really is an example of what the Herbert and Grace Dow Foundation does today, is we continue the tradition of what Herbert and Grace did to support the community, to take projects that the community wants to do and provide additional funding to make them really special. And if you look around, you can see examples all over town. The community center, streetscape right here, Dow Diamond, and on and on. Their examples are everywhere. And so we're really proud that we were able to support this project as well. Herbert and Grace love the Midland community. We feel like this tradition continues on with the Herbert and Grace Dow Foundation today, that we love the Midland community as well. We're delighted with the results of this. Steve, you were the guy who really brought this to us first, and what a fantastic thing. This courthouse is nearly 100 years old today, and I hope with these renovations it can keep going for another 100 years. So thank you very much, and look forward to touring it afterwards.
And next, please welcome back Chairman Mark Bone.
Hi, everybody. Midland County has been the recipient of incredible public-private partnerships since the early 1900s, long before public-private partnerships were the in thing. Today, we are here to rededicate our courthouse, much like our predecessors did in 1926. We are proud that we can continue to use this unique and historic building as a modern, functional courthouse. This multi-million-dollar renovation and enhancement could not have happened without the generosity of many of Midland's private foundations. I am humbled to be here today thanking those benefactors, our partners, on behalf of the County Board of Commissioners, our employees, and the residents of Midland County. Thank you very much to our foundations.
Next, I would like to welcome a man who was a former Midland County Chief Circuit Judge and who is currently a federal district judge, Thomas Ludington.
15 years ago, in the spring of 2003, we closed the doors of the courthouse to locate a single entry behind the back of the building for security and to have control over the potential for weapons in the building. We sort of removed the courthouse from the mainstream of Midland's Main Street community. And as a part of that effort, we actually put up a sign to direct people to the back of the building. With Kevin Beeson's assistance, we located that sign, and our intention as a part of the rededication of the building is also to retire the sign. Kevin, you can do anything you want with that sign. We don't need it anymore. A lot of effort has been invested to make this project and today's rededication possible. We may be with a number of different speakers thanking the same people, but that's okay. Better that we do it too much than too little. I'd like to thank the County Board of Commissioners, who was an excellent partner in the project, the judges and the employees, who have largely been displaced for large periods of time over the course of the last year in order for the construction to proceed in a timed manner. Spence Construction, the committee that, with the direction of the commissioners, was appointed to oversee the project. They've met regularly and addressed lots of different issues. Two people, one you've met just briefly, Kevin Beeson, who is a facilities manager who's on a day-to-day basis lived with this project, and Bridget Granston, the county administrator and comptroller, who has carefully kept track of the financial implications of the building along the way. But I would like to identify three people in particular that I think were particularly important to seeing the project through. First, Mike Whiting, who spoke here just a couple of minutes ago on behalf of the Dow Foundation. Without the Foundation's commitment and without their leadership, this project would not have happened. Thank you, Mike. The second person is a colleague of mine at the Gerstacker Foundation, Mr. Alan Ott. As Mike sort of pointed out, as this project developed and we opened up 90-year-old walls, there were a few surprises along the way. And it needed just a little bit of additional assistance. And it was Alan that, not unusually, was the go-to person who helped us figure out how to complete the project and do so in a first-class manner, but also with real consideration for the cost. Finally, and of critical significance, Judge Karras. He brought a couple of really important elements to the project. The first of which he referred to here just a couple of minutes ago. In a way, historically, the courthouse was a bit of a family project. There was a family interest. He had a strong understanding of the importance of this building to many of us as citizens of Midland County. But it wasn't just his historic interest in the building itself. He's also the chief circuit judge and has a good understanding for how this building needs to operate today in 2018, and a good understanding of how it needs to work going into the future to serve people, and marrying both the history as well as the current understanding, was able to develop a plan and then assist in locating the funding. So thank you, Stephen.
Next, please welcome our Attorney General and very strong supporter of this project, Bill Schuette.
Well, thank you very much, Judge Karras, and thank you all for being here. I got to hand it to our federal judge, Tom Ludington, how you could take that country western song, Take This Job and Shove It, to apply it to a sign that says, take that sign and shove it. We don't need it anymore. That was beautifully done, Tom Ludington. Give him a big round of applause. That was very nice. That was very nice. Oh, goodness, great friend and so many wonderful speakers. I see judges here, Judges Carpenter, Beal, and Allen. Thank you very much, along their partner, Judge Karras. And Mike Whiting, a boyhood friend, thank you for your leadership at the Dow Foundation and being here today for this wonderful achievement, and members of the Dow Foundation as well. And so many distinguished civic leaders here. Alan Ott, Mr. Midland, you helped make sure this happened. Again, this guy deserves a huge round of applause. Thank you, Alan Ott. You're Mr. Midland for so many. Thank you. I know that Bill Lauterbach is here from the Gerstacker Foundation. Lisa Gerstacker was unable to be here, but sends her greetings to be sure. And this is a special day. This day of rededicating the courthouse is just a special day like it was in May when we rededicated the Tridge. So two key areas of how we're enhancing and rededicating Midland for the future. You know, one of the key reasons that Midland is a special place, a special town, a special community, is we practice this concept of team. We're a team here. That's how it happens. And we practice teamwork. And everything we do in this town to make sure we enhance it so it's the best town in America, it's because of team and teamwork. And you see it in the riverfront, you see it in the downtown, how we're raising new buildings, having a greater activity here in town. And there'll be more bridges in Midland's future. And everything we do, we practice team, whether it's the Herbert H. and Grace A. Dow Foundation, the Strostacker Foundation, Gerstacker, Alden and Veda Dow Family Foundation, Dow Chemical Foundation, and the Michigan Baseball Foundation. We all work together as a team. And today, this new dedication on Main Street here. And, you know, courthouses are a place for people. It's the people's house. It's where young lawyers cut their teeth and learn to be advocates for their clients. It's where people across this community see where justice is delivered and determined. And now, this courthouse once again will have an eye on Main Street. It'll be open doors to Main Street for people, for constituents, for lawyers, for our community. And it's just one more enhancement to this magnificent town we know as Midland, this special place because of team and teamwork. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Judge?
Thank you. All right. Next, I would like to welcome Diane Middleton up from the Midland Area Chamber of Commerce to say a few words, and then we're going to have the ribbon cutting.
Well, good afternoon. On behalf of the Midland Business Alliance and the entire business community, thank you for allowing us to share in the celebration today. We are so honored to be included. The Midland County Courthouse is truly iconic. In short, it's part of what makes Midland, Midland. This is an exciting time for Midland, an exciting time especially for downtown with the revitalization and the progress and growth. You see it all around us, and it is exciting and it's inspiring for sure. And the courthouse is no exception. We're grateful to all today, and especially for the support of the area foundations. We're grateful to all who have helped to have a hand in making that vision a reality. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to bring forward Greg Crawford for a short presentation, and then we'll cut a ribbon.
Thank you, Diane. On behalf of the Midland Area Chamber of Commerce, our board of directors, our ambassadors, and over 900 chamber members that live and work in the Midland community, we'd like to commemorate today's ribbon cutting with this plaque.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That concludes the speaking portion of the program, and we're about to have the ribbon cutting, and I'm anxious to see how that works. So, thank you all for your support.
Okay, I've asked for help from Tina Lewis from our staff, and I believe our ambassadors, and we're gonna cut that ribbon. All right.
How do you want to do it, Diane?
Up here?
Yes, or do it up
Yes,
here.
let's do it on the steps here.
Mike, Mark, you guys want to?
It probably would work well on the steps so we could staircase.
Give these to you.
Ooh.
They do cut.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think
Should I
you know
run
how to
with them?
work
No,
those, Steve.
don't.
You're the only one who knows how to work.
Yeah, that's right. Trust me.
Get out of here. Let's get together. Our kids will read about this.
Gotta cut down here towards the
Okay,
end. This
all
part
right.
up here doesn't cut down.
All right.
Okay. All right.
All right.
No, it's you.
Oh, we have to do this together. This is a joint effort.
Speech up here, I think.
So thank you all very much for your attendance here. We really appreciate your support. Thank you again. Have a great day.